Hello YouTubers and welcome to my channel. Today I will be making sourdough bread. I absolutely love this bread. I make it often and I wanted to share this recipe with you. It's simple, not too complicated. Once you get the hang of it, you will absolutely love it. Let's get started. For this recipe, you will need a sourdough starter, and you could find sourdough starter at your local bakery, or maybe you could ask a friend or a family member that might have it. If not, you could always find things like that on Amazon. I promise you, you will find a sourdough starter. In this case, I made it myself and I've had it for a long time and I just keep using it and activating it and it lasts you forever basically. So I'm gonna add 130 grams of sourdough starter in here in a jar. And once I get the 130, I will show you the next step to activate the sourdough starter. We're basically going to feed the starter to activate it. And there we go. So I'm going to add the water, but first I zeroed out the scale and I'm going to add the same amount of water, 130 grams of water. And then same thing, zero out the scale and add the same amount of flour, and I have 130 grams in here. And I've been doing this for a while and it's been working out for me. I forgot to mention, you'll need to start this process here early in the morning because you will need to wait 8 hours before the sourdough starter is actually activated and ready to be used for your recipe. So I mixed everything here together and I'm going to put a rubber band around it so I'll know when it doubles in size, I'll know how far it went up. And I'm gonna leave the lid, there's the rubber band right there. And I'm gonna leave the lid slightly open and cover it with a towel and leave it for 8 hours. And it should double in size depending on the temperature in your room. And this is after 8 hours. It did double in size and looks ready, but I'm going to test it out. And all I have to do is fill a glass of water, get a spoon, scoop out 1 spoon and dump it on top of the water just to make sure it is ready. If it stays up, it's ready. If it sinks down, it needs a little more time. And it should look like this. It did pass the test, so we are good to go and we could move on with the next step. I'm going to take 155 grams of the sourdough starter to use it into my bread recipe. So this is 155 grams of sourdough starter. Then I have here 400 grams of flour, and I will show you what type I use. This is the brand and the type that I use. It's really good. I've been using it for a while now. And make sure the flour is unbleached. And here I have 260 grams of water and then 20 grams of olive oil and 10 grams of salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix the salt with the flour, add the olive oil, and the water. and the sourdough starter. I'm just gonna pour everything in there, and all I have to do is mix everything together. And you don't have to do anything special here. You just stick your hand in there and get everything mixed together. By the way, prepping the dough, I will prep the dough and stretch it and fold it and shape it and all that stuff, but I will not be baking today. I will be baking this dough tomorrow because it does have to stay in the fridge for 13 hours till the second day in the morning when you're ready to bake it. And then here we're just making sure all the flour is hydrated, and I'm almost done. It does look a bit messy now, but do not worry because we're going to end up with a very nice dough. And there we go. It's going to look like that, and I'm going to leave it, I'm going to put a towel, cover it with a towel and let it rest for 30 to 45 minutes. And this is after 45 minutes. I will start my first set of stretch and fold. I'm going to repeat this process 3 times. So this is the first one. All I'm doing, stretching the dough and folding it 4 times here. And I will cover it for 30 minutes and come back after 30 minutes. Again, stretch out the side of the dough as far as you can. Fold, that's 1. Stretch and fold, that's 2. And 3. And 4. And then I'm gonna cover it for one last time for another 30 minutes, and I will come back and repeat the same thing that I just did earlier. So just stretch and fold once on each side 4 times. And then after I'm done with this, what I'm going to do, I'm going to check the dough to make sure it's ready, so I can let it rest a little longer. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to stretch it out, and if this doesn't break, it is ready to go. So I'm going to put the lid on top, and I'm going to leave it somewhere warm. Cover it with a towel, or if you have a blanket, even better. We need to get that dough to double in size, and I will come back in 3 hours to check on it. And here we go. This is after 3 hours. It did double in size and it looks good. This is what I want to see. I'm going to give it a little jiggle for you to see what it looks like and how it feels. So I dumped it here on the countertop and flattened it out, and I'm going to do my first set of shaping right here, and basically just follow what I'm doing. It's very simple, and I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to just kind of shape it into a circle. So just push and pull kind of motion on the countertop. You could do that like about 10 times maybe until you feel that like the dough is kind of tight and round and it has its shape. And that's when I'm going to spray it with some flour, leave it for an additional 20 minutes, let it rest, and I will come back to do the final shaping. So this is after 20 minutes, and I'm going to stretch it out as far as I can, and I'm going to fold it on each side. Then I'm going to roll it, and I will show you what I'm going to do. You'll need a Benetton, one of those with a piece of fabric in there. If not, you could just use any bowl with a towel on top, and I'll show you later. I'll give you an example. And just take it and put it upside down into that Benetton and spray it with some well, I'm going to need to put some water on my hand and seal whatever opening you see. Just seal it kind of like that. Seal the dough. And I'm adding some flour on top, and I will put it inside a plastic bag, and after that it is ready to go into the fridge for 13 hours, and tomorrow I will pull it out of the fridge early in the morning and I will bake it. And this is what I was talking about. You could use something like that, and you could just add a towel and some flour. This is what I used to do before I bought my molds. This works just fine. The next morning, when you're ready to bake, you will need a razor blade, a baking sheet, and some rice flour. And of course, something like this, a vessel, any type of vessel will work, just to cover the dough for the first 20 minutes in the oven. And this is after I pulled out the dough from the fridge, after I left it in the fridge for 13 hours. What I'm going to do is take the dough and flip it upside down. Put some flour and flip it out upside down. And before you do this step, I forgot to mention, you will need to turn on your oven on 500 degrees. Your oven needs to be hot before you stick the dough in there. What I'm doing here, I'm just gonna put some flour on it, rice flour. You can put any type of flour, it doesn't matter. And just massage it on top of it, and I'm going to slash the dough like that. And you could do any design that you like. I like this one, it's very easy and quick. And I'm gonna add the roasting vessel on top, and then stick the dough in the oven for the first 20 minutes with the vessel on top. So this thing is gonna go in there for the first 20 minutes, and the oven is on 500 degrees. This is after 20 minutes. I'm going to pull out the vessel. I'm gonna remove it. And I'm gonna turn the temperature down to 450 degrees, and I will leave the bread in there for an additional 25 minutes. And this is after 25 minutes. And it's going to look like that. Voila! Beautiful sourdough bread. Smells really good. Looks really good. You will need to put it on top of a cooling rack, something like that, for 25 to 30 minutes. Just wait until the bread cools down before you cut it. You do not want to cut it when it's hot. This is what it looks like after the bread cooled down, and I'm going to cut it for you and show you what it looks like inside. You see all these bubbles. That's perfect. That's exactly how I want it. And it smells really good, and it tastes really good. I tried a piece. Try the recipe. I hope you like my video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.